I'm so excited to be here with you today. My name is Mrs. Burton, and I am an instructional coach. And sometimes you hear that word and you might think, coach, sports, has nothing to do with sports. I'm just a teacher, and I get to work with amazing teachers like yours, and we get to figure out the best way to teach you reading and writing and math. But today we're going to do some reading work together today. Yay! Oh my gosh, I heard that about you guys, that you're like doing amazing reading work. So here, let's start this way. When I call your table, come on over to the rug, and let's, all of the other of us will watch. Let's see if they can come quietly without talking. Kind of curious. How about that? Oh, that table right back here. Watch what they do. What do you notice them doing? They're pushing their chair in. Without talking, they're coming to the rug. Here, I'll see it. They did it, and they're, oh my goodness, without even talking. I'm looking for another quiet table. And these guys are, look at this. They're still sitting here and not even talking. And you know what I see some of you notice? We do. You know what? We have some cameras going. We have some microphones going. And here's the thing. Well, I'll tell you when you get to the rug. Let's see which table is ready next. I think you are ready. Come on to the rug. Oh, and look at even the first table. They're still not talking. They're waiting patiently. I can tell you're ready to learn. And the last table. Come to the rug. Thank you so much for sitting quietly. Thank you. Oh, can you sit up straight so I can see your name? Thank Dominic, sitting nicely. Thank you, Andrew. And so, thank you, Wyatt. So some of you did notice, yes, we have cameras going and we have a microphone we're going to be passing back and forth. And here, because it's going to help us think about and notice your learning, and that will help us be better teachers. Okay? So we're just, you know what we're going to do? We're going to kind of ignore it. We're going to pretend it's not even here. Because you know what's going to happen? What every other time I've done this, the students are so involved in the reading and the thinking that we forget it's even there. We forget even all the other teachers are here. So here's the thing that here's something a little bit different about today too. Today, during different parts in the lesson, we're all going to take turns teaching. And so at some parts in the lesson, we may stop and then another teacher might come up and then they'll do a little bit of teaching. And so here's the thing, and sometimes, you know what else we might do? It's so exciting. You know what else we might do? Sometimes we push the pause button. Because what we need to do is we need to talk about what we're noticing, and we need to talk about teaching. And so here's the thing, you can either, like when I push the pause button, you can either freeze, or you can talk quietly about your thinking. That's your choice, okay? So we're so excited to be here with you today. And thank you for helping us learn. I really appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate it. Because that's going to help us notice and be better teachers. So we can look at that. Can you is your name Jessie? Yeah, stick that on you, Jessie, so we can see your name. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to pass this to you. All right, and I'll give that to you too. And
okay. Good morning, boys and girls. My name is Miss Gonzalez, and I'm going to be reading a story to you. But before that, we're going to say our I can and our we will statements, okay? So can you read those with me? I can make text to self and text to text connections.
Whoa.
Very good. Next one. Sentence stems to help us add detail to our connections. Awesome job. Y'all are great readers. Now, so we're going to be, so I know we've been working on connections, right? We've been working on connections in our classroom. So we're going to be reading a story called Olivia and the Missing Toy. Can you look at the cover? What do you see on the cover?
Oh, just quiet in your head. Quiet in your head.
Let's just think in our heads. What does that make you think of?
Okay. Oh,
So right now we're gonna turn and talk, and you're gonna turn and talk with your partner about the cover of the story. What does that make you think of?
does it remind you of anything?
Does that remind you of anything? So turn and talk with your partners.
We just turn our head.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
smart.
turn your heads.
I'm gonna scooch
Good
back.
job.
No, just if we just turn our head. When it was thundering, the balloon popped.
What did that make you think? I'm gonna scooch behind you, babe. So here actually too. So somebody made a connection to lightning. We could introduce a sentence. Should we introduce a sentence to them at that point? You think you want to introduce that now? It might be a perfect time to do it. Did you hear anybody else making a connection?
I
really didn't. Yeah.
Did you want to introduce?
Do you want me? I'll do. Yeah. Well, we're just gonna say. So I heard some of you say, when you saw this cover, it made you think of lightning. So I think just say it for him. Okay. Yeah.
Class.
Yes.
Okay,
Look
I
at them. They
heard.
all stop talking and their eyes are on you.
Awesome job. So I heard very good connections. I heard somebody over there say that they made a connection about thunder. Can you tell me about your connection?
I saw thunder and lightning. I connect.
So
Oh, yep. And so I would just use that sentence stem for him and have him. You
When
say
I
the
read
connections. Yeah. So when I read about it for us, it's when I looked at the cover
when I looked at the cover
of
of
Olivia and the
Olivia,
Lightning,
it reminded you of the thunder,
the thunderstorm.
the thunderstorm.
I heard a lot of you say that. That was a connection for a lot of you. Thumbs up if it reminded you of a storm. Oh. Or thumbs up because I heard some of you say too, like a couple of people were saying, it reminded you of when you lost a toy. Yeah. So when you saw the cover and we were looking at the cover of Olivia and we read the title, and when we read Olivia and the Missing Toy, it made you think of your missing. Oh, look at thumbs up. It made you think of your missing toy.
Yes. It made me think of.
And how did that make you feel when you had a missing toy? Sad. How do you think? Does that help you understand how Olivia's feeling? Maybe.
Yeah.
How is she feeling?
Sad.
Wyatt, you think? So? Oh my goodness. Look at how good they are at this one.
Very good.
Thank
Scared.
Thank you. Thank you.
You gotta read the book.
And I'm going to do that first model now, and then I forget who's next, but we'll go. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to read a little bit, and as we read, we'll see if we can use this sentence stem. When we have connections and parts remind us, so when I read about, it reminded me of, just like you did the storm connection you had, the missing toy connection. And you know what I'm just realizing too, when we left, I left the teacher note sheet, what's the teacher saying and doing, what's the student saying and doing. Yes, you have it right there for the teachers. Do you want to grab that real quick, just so they have something? So teachers, Miss Lomas is going to go grab that recording sheet, that lesson study record form. I think we used it last time. So it just allows you to take notes on the different parts of the lesson. Oh my goodness, look at you. Is your name Kylie? I can't see your name. Sit up. Oh yeah, flatten it. Kaylee was sitting so patiently and waiting for me. She's ready for learning. Olivia and the missing toy. Let's see what this makes us think as we read. Actually, I'm going to show you, and teachers, I realized, because I was kind of like, it's not just that we're reading, I realized I need to frame it. So I almost like went into the whole modeling without telling them, because I want to be, that language of modeling, I want to say, so now watch me, you know. So boys and girls, watch how I do this first. I'm just going to show you what this looks like to make connections and use this sentence stem, which I think you kind of already know. Thumbs up if you feel pretty good about how you make connections. Oh, I knew it. So this will go quick. And I have to tell you too, we may not read the whole book. Olivia and the missing toy. One day, Olivia was riding a camel in Egypt.
Oh.
What? When her mother woke her up. You know what I just realized? I've read this book a few times, and it's not until the last time I read it when I realized she wasn't really riding a camel in Egypt.
She was dreaming.
She was dreaming.
It was her imagination.
Yeah, a dream, because she was sleeping, because mother said when her mother woke her up. So we know she was sleeping. Time to get up, sweetie pie. Remember, you have soccer this morning. Olivia's uniform comes in a really unattractive green. Unattractive means kind of like ugly. She doesn't really like it. It's not very attractive, it's unattractive. Mommy, can you make me a red soccer shirt like this one, please? But then you'll look different from everyone else on the team, explained her mother. That's the point. Do you know what this makes me think? And did you see how I did that? I put the book down, I had some thinking, watch what I do. Just watch. When I read about Olivia wanting to be different, so I'm going to write that. When I read about, I'll do it, you just watch. When I read about Olivia wanting to be different, wanting a different soccer shirt, that made me think about my daughter. And you know what I'm going to draw a picture of? I'm going to draw a picture of socks. Because my daughter, she's so silly. She likes to wear, so I'm going to draw one sock that has lines and one sock that has polka dots on it. Oh, you're just listening to me? Mismatched. My daughter, she likes to wear different socks. You know what? My daughter likes to be different. That's what this made me think about. My daughter likes.
Patches lost and found made me think about my guinea pig where he died on the road.
Oh, look at, you're making text-to-text connections too, buddy. See, I knew you would be really good at this. So let me put this. So here's what you're going to do. I'm going to put this right in the book, and I'm going to have it sticking out a little bit. And that's what you'll do when you, because we're only going to do this a little bit. You're going to get a chance to go do this work in your own books, and just have that post-it note sticking out a little bit. Okay? All right. I'll hold this. And it might be a little weird, but I'll hold this for you.
When Olivia came home from practice, her mother was working on the shirt. "Is it done yet?" she asked. "Not yet," said her mother. Olivia waited, and waited till she was too exhausted to wait any longer.
Yeah, has that ever made you?
Wow. Have you guys ever had to wait long for something?
Think about it. Put your finger to your
About
head.
it.
Turn and talk. Then have them turn and talk. Turn and talk. Tell a
Turn
partner.
and talk.
Tell a partner a time when you had to wait and
For
wait.
something you wanted really bad.
And we'll just phone and listen. I'm going to scooch behind you, baby. Sweetie Pie, can you scooch this way? Keep scooching. Keep scooching. Can you look eyes on your partner? She's talking.
My mom.
Did you hear any examples? Did you hear any connections or any?
Wait for the restroom.
And so here's what I would do. So at this point too, and teachers at this point, sometimes what I like to do, because it's so easy to just want to start calling on people, but that can kind of sometimes take us off. So it's nice to like pick one that we heard and either have them share or even like just restate. I heard somebody say you had to wait for this. I heard somebody say you had to wait for this. So which route do you want to go? Do you want to kind of want to restate it? I'll let you do that
What
now.
do you hear? So I can.
So yeah, I heard. So she's waiting. She had to wait for dinner. And she was so hungry. She had to wait and wait. Is that what you heard, Sandra? And then you had. So I'll just say those two. Yeah, and then you'll be done. Class. We heard some connections. What did you hear them say?
I hear people say that they have to wait very long for the restroom or for dinner.
Oh, just listen. You're listening right now. You're listening right now. Boys and girls. Oh, we're not calling out. Just listen. So we heard you having to wait for the restroom. We heard having to wait for dinner. Oh my goodness. You know what? Do you think, do we want to have them try to put this into a sentence stem? Is there somebody, we could ask them, is there somebody who thinks they could use that sentence stem? You ask them.
Yeah.
I know.
Can somebody put this into a sentence then? When I read about Olivia
Maybe.
and
Now here's, I'm even
Tolstoy
thinking, do we want them to turn and talk and
and
everybody
the
try
missing
it?
toy, it reminded me of, what did it remind you of?
Turn and talk. See if you can use that sentence stem and try say, when I read about Olivia waiting for her uniform, it reminded me of
Shirt.
waiting for the bathroom. You try it. Go ahead and turn and talk. Use the sentence stem. We're going to listen in. Go. So let's see if they're using, now let's listen and see if they're using that sentence stem. And you guys even come on over here so we can hear. Oh, and and this is why sometimes I voice over. Boys and girls, I need to hear you saying, when I read about, you try it. When I read about Olivia, did you try it? When I read about, did you try it? You try it. When I read about
Olivia,
Olivia waiting for her uniform,
Olivia waiting for her uniform,
it reminded me of
it reminded me of
waiting for
my food.
for your what?
Food.
For your food, Ashlyn. Oh my goodness, boys and girls, listen to Ashlyn's. And sometimes teachers, I like to have somebody stand up and we'll highlight her. So Ashlyn, stand up right here. Come here. Watch how Ashlyn did this, because then it really makes it clear what this looks like. So Ashlyn, will you read that? Say it again. When I read about.
Olivia.
Oh, here, wait, let me give you. Can you hold this and say it? Look at her go.
When I read about Olivia,
Look at them.
it reminded me of me waiting for my food.
Thank you, sweetie, so much. Give her a applause and sign language. Oh, no, it's a silent. That means there's no talking. Just wave your hands. Perfect. All right, and I think you pass it off to the next person, right?
No.
Or no? Oh, do you keep going?
Well, I guess you started me earlier, but that's okay.
Oh, did I start you too early?
So she went out to play with the cat. Look, darling, it's all done, said her mother. Let's see the pictures. But something was missing. Wait a second, Olivia said. Where's my toy? Where's my toy? It was right there on the bed. I just put it there. I remember exactly. That's my best toy. I need it now. Somebody took my toy. My best toy.
The cat? No.
We'll find out.
Soccer.
Olivia looked everywhere. Under the rug, under the sofa, under the cat.
Did that remind you of another story?
Does that remind you of any other?
For you, remember
Oh.
I think we're gonna model the text-to-text connection here.
Yes.
Watch what Mrs. Armstrong does. Watch what she does right now.
Does that remind you guys of another story?
Well, you share your connections. Here, we're gonna model that text-to-text.
Reminded me.
Watch how she does this.
It reminds me when Jenny lost Patches. What do you think?
That's my idea.
And what kind of
Patches
connection was that?
Patches lost
What kind of connection was that?
Text to text.
Text to text. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Who's next? Terry. Well, yeah, come on up. Come on up.
Hi, boys and girls. My name is Miss Clark. Good morning. Okay.
So now we're kind of jumping in. So, and actually, boys and girls, I'm going to push the pause button here. So you can quietly talk to each other, but we're going to talk to each other. So, so I must have made eye contact with you and you kind of jumped up early, so I apologize. So we skipped your part. Do we want to throw in an extra part here? Do you want to, even at this part, so here, because where's Terry? So you were going to kind of just have them do that turn and talk.
I felt blamed and then I can.
Do you want to share a connection?
Sure.
where you felt that? Or okay, awesome. Look at you go. Look at you go. I'm so proud of you. All right. Unpause.
All right.
Listen. Oh, we're going to
Here
keep
we
it.
go. Let's keep
Oh,
going.
Actually, we read that, so we're going to go here.
Is it under the sofa? Under the cat? She asked her little brother Ian, "What did you do with my toy?" And so let's stop and think about that for a minute. She's asking her brother Ian, "What did you do with my toy?" What kind of action did she do there to Ian? What action did she make to him? Can anyone tell me what that was? I need someone with a quiet hand, someone who's ready. Yes, sir. Andrew. I'm sorry, say that again? You want to phone a friend? Julia? Jalissa.
She screamed at him.
She-
Got mad at him.
She got mad at him, and there's a special word for that. It's called blame.
Yep.
It's called blamed. Let's turn and talk for a minute about this. Think about a time that you blamed someone for doing something. Maybe you thought they did it, and you blamed them. You accused them of that. What does that mean? What does it mean if you blame someone for something?
Or we want them to think of a time.
Think of
right?
a
When you
time.
blame somebody. Perfect. Yeah. And you know what? And here's the thing. We had talked about just modeling that for them right now, but I think they're ready. Like they're ready to do this work. So, and I think the thing we really want to listen into, are they using these sentence stems? So boys and girls, we're also, class.
Yes.
We're also going to be looking to see, are you using the sentence stems to add that detail? So when I read about Olivia blaming her brother, it reminded me of, so everybody should start that way. When I say go, turn and talk, and then start that way. Go. When I read about Olivia
blaming her brother, it made me think, it reminded me of.
and then tell, go ahead and tell. Include everybody, so turn to partner. Can you guys turn and talk? Say when I read about.
Olivia, it made me remind of
Wyatt. You're talking to your partner. I'll come to you next.
It reminded me of Candyman and my sister watching TV because I want to play my Xbox.
Was she? You wanted to play Xbox, and she wanted to watch TV?
Xbox 360.
Oh my goodness.
It reminded me of my brother playing with the toy house, but I lost the car to it.
Okay, class?
Yes.
I heard something really good on the carpet. Jalissa was telling me that one time she was with her cousin and her brother and her sister, and her candy and marshmallows were missing. And so it was a blame that she made onto them. She thought that maybe they took it. So that was her connection to someone blaming something for someone. Very good. Let's give her a hand.
And we could even ask her how that helped her understand the text.
And so,
to model that.
and so
You
what?
want
And so, Jalissa, thank you for the silent cheer. I love that. Jalissa, how did that make you think of what we just read?
Did it help you understand the story better? How did
'Cause-
it help you understand the story? How are you feeling when? Oh, I'm so sorry, Wyatt. Just a minute. I can't hear Jalissa. How are you feeling when that happened? You were sad. How do you think Olivia and her brother were feeling?
Sad.
Yeah, I bet he was being sad about being blamed. Do you think? Who did you blame? Your brother?
My brother and my cousin.
How did you think your brother was feeling sad? That you blamed him? I wonder.
Aw.
Thank you so much.
Very good, boys and girls. Thank you.
Do you think he might have been scared? Oh my goodness. You guys are really good at this work. And I'm almost thinking, teachers, do we want to add, I could add that second part of the sentence stem even right now, rather than waiting, is kind of what I'm thinking, to see if they're ready for that. Other thoughts from the other part of, this helps me understand the story, the important parts of the story, because we kind of just modeled that, then I feel like we can make that very clear and salient. What do you guys think? Should I do that? Awesome. All right. And this is the part I love about this work. Boys and girls, I pushed the pause button again. I'm so sorry. This is what I love about this work, is that we get a sense from them if they're getting it, and that helps us know, do we want to do that a little bit more, or do we need to break it down more and give them more support, you know? Unpause. Wyatt, I love how your eyes are on me. Jalissa, I love how your eyes are on me. All right. And then After I do this, then we'll send them off to independent. And I forgot who's doing that part. Is somebody sending them off to independent? Did you want to just do that part for me? That'd be awesome. Okay, so boys and girls, here's the other thing, and here is why. And Jalissa helped us understand this. Here is why we make connections. Because, oh, I'm so sorry, just a minute, because Jalissa won't be able to hear me talking if you're talking. So Wyatt, we make connections. I have one. I think so. The reason we make connections is to help us better understand the story. And Jalissa showed us that, right? So let's add that. Let's add that sentence stem, because we know the sentence stem will help us add detail to our connections. So when I read about Olivia blaming her brother, Jalissa said, it reminded me of me blaming my brother for taking the marshmallows. And then here's what we say. Watch this part. That helps me understand. And I'm going to put better. That helps me better understand the story because. So, Jalissa, let's ask Jalissa again. Jalissa, how did that help you better understand the story?
Because Olivia's mad at her sister, she hated her brother, and she got mad at him.
And you were thinking about how they were feeling, weren't you? So could you say, that helps me better understand the story. Thank you, Lilith, for having your eyes on me. Thank you, Jeremy, for having your eyes on me. That helps me better understand the story because Jalissa might have said, I understand how mad Olivia was. Or I understand how sad the brother, sad she made the brother feel. Was your brother sad? So now you know how Olivia's brother
And he laughs at me.
Wonderful.
All right, so this morning we went over text to self. When you guys were making connections and you were thinking about Olivia and about how she was blaming her brother, it made you think of some of the things that, or some of the people that you might have blamed. Or when you had to wait and Olivia waited, you kind of made that connection. You also went over text to text connections. When we heard that Olivia had lost her toy, it made us think about Patches and about how Jenny had lost Patches. So now you're going to go back to your seats in a minute, and you're going to use some sentence stems. And you're going to think about, and you're going to write about Olivia.
Well, the connections they have in their own text.
And oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You're going to do the connections in your own text.
Yeah.
Okay.
So see if you can use. I love it how I'm glad you remind us about the sentence stems. Mm-hmm. So boys and girls, see if you can use those sentence stems on Post-its in your own writing. Kind of the way I did when I wrote about the socks. And I put that on Post-it. See if you can try that out in your own text. Thumbs up if you're ready to go. What are we going to do? Who can tell me what we're going to go and do?
Rick's gonna go sit on his chair.
You're going to go read your own stories, your own books, and do what?
Write about how we feel.
Well, and practice what? Making.
Connection.
What are you going to use to help you?
A book.
You need your book. And
Sentences.
see if you can write these down the way we practice. Okay? Use those to help you make your connections.
Write that down.
All right. If you can, and now we just need the text. So Juan, if you could help send them off with the text. If you can hear my voice, tap your head. If you can hear my voice, touch your nose. Do they have Post-its at their table? Okay, then we will just, boys and girls, I didn't even know this. You already have books at your tables. So, and do we have the list of the students for me to work with? I thought she's.
Yes, the ones that you're.
Perfect. Got it. So here's, you know what, if I could, this is perfect. Actually, Mateo, Andrea, Hunter, when I call your name, stand up. Mateo, Andrea, stand up. Mateo, stand up. Okay, then I'm only going to have 4. So Andrea, stand up. Hunter, stand up. Erica, and Jeremy. I'd like you 4 to go get your books and with a pencil and meet me back at the rug. Everyone else,
What kind of books?
get the book that you can make connections with. Everyone else, when I say go, you're going to go back to your seats and start using the sentence stems to write down your connections in the books you're reading.
Oh, man.
Off you go.
Get your
I'm going to skip him because, oh, no, she said he's not here. Somebody said he's not here. Oh, I'll do 4, sorry. You know, I usually just rip them apart so there's a couple of, like, so, like, just take one whole thing for a table and we'll just give them that. Actually, I'm going to have you go to a table. Pass them up to a table. Awesome, thank you. By the time I get to 0, you will be at your seats with your books. I will see people lost in their books. I'm on 5. I'll take care of it. I'm on 3. Let me see, does anybody have their book out yet? Look, my guys on the rug have their books out. So you get to go ahead and start making a connection. Start making a connection. Oh no, you're going back to your seat, sweets, right? Here you go. Back to your seat. I'm on 3. Oh, you're back at your seat, sweets. Back at your seat. Do you need more? Yep. If we need more. I'm on 2. Let me see if anybody has their book open yet. Oh, okay. Let me see. I'm on 1. By the time I get to 0, I won't hear any talking. Everyone will have their book open. Oh, Wyatt has his book open. Oh, let me see. Who's reading? What's your name, babe? Sedana. Sedana? Sedana? Sedana is reading her book? Sedana? Okay. That didn't work. Sedana.
Why are they on the cardboard?
I'm looking to see who's, oh my gosh, my guys in the rug, they're already writing connections. Awesome. Let me see if you're reading and making connections. Oh, quiet yourself. Well, if you're reading along and it reminds you of something, if you're reading along, it reminds you of something, write it down. Do you have a good book here?
Yes.
Oh, what's this book about? Does that remind you of something, anything yet? Did it make you think of something else in your life? What did it make you think? Did it remind you of something in your life?
If somebody wants to play with me.
Who did somebody want to play with you? Did you have a friend who wanted to play with you?
I have 3 friends.
So could you write, when I read about somebody playing with Kara, it made me think, it reminded me of, could you write that? You go ahead and try that. That's awesome, Wyatt. Good job. I have one. But you can hold it to students if you're talking about it. Yeah. Go ahead and write that connection.
What are you writing
Yes.
about?
And them.
When
Here, can I borrow that, actually? Can you start, Wyatt, can you start this way? When I read about, and what here made you think? What here made you think that? What in the book made you think about your friend asking?
playing with me,
Which friend? Can you tell me more, give me more detail about them?
Adrian and Andrew.
Adrian and Andrew. So, and what in the text reminded you of Adrian and Andrew?
They wanted to be my friends and play at the park.
What in the text made you think that? What part here?
It reminded me of
Playing later
my high
Oh,
chair.
who said
How
that?
I might fall
at 3.
So when she said, we'll play later, so could we say that? Could we say, when I read about them playing later, it reminded me of, could we say that? When I read about,
And I read about
could you write that down? Awesome, you go for it. Good job. And so teachers, I kind of just wanted to get them settled a little bit and get them starting to make some connections.
So that's what you wanted to start with?
Yep, so really I kind of wanted just to see what they could do on their own. So then, because I'm going to give them a little bit more support, but
You asked me how to spell reminded. It's right there.
awesome.
See, it says, when I read about moonlight, comma, it reminded me of Legree. You see there?
What?
Okay.
Oh, no, it's all right. I'm just thinking. You guys are awesome. I'm going to give you a little bit more time to make connections. I'll come back. Does anybody have a question or anybody need any help with making connections?
No.
Is this helpful for you? Does this help you understand the story when you make connections? Awesome. Then I'm going to let you go.
It reminds me when
So as we're walking around, see if there's a student that we want to highlight in that share. Like I just heard her, she actually wrote out the whole thing when I read about it, because I'm having to do a lot of prompting for that. But I'll be curious, that'll be something we'll notice. Well, so she might be one we want to highlight. We can do that together. We can do it together. I heard you. You're using the sentence stems. And so teachers, here's the thing, a couple things. In 1 minute, I'm going to go over and work on the strategy group, and so you can come over and listen in if you want to talk through that a little bit. I'm curious to see what you're noticing. Are we having to do a lot of prompting to use the sentence stems? Got it. And because they don't know it enough, and so they haven't internalized it. Okay. So we'll see. And we know they need more work with the strategy.
I don't know if they're in there because they're still working on that first one. When I read about blanket, reminded me of. So we're still working on that stem, so we haven't gotten to the second stem yet.
And that's going to be student by student need, right? So some might need that prompting just for the first part. Yeah. So teachers, if you want to kind of come on over for a quick minute. Teachers, I'm going to have you kind of come on over here for a quick minute. No, I almost said Reynolds. Valerie. Oh, just come over for a quick. I just want to debrief real quick. Come in a little bit closer. So a couple things. So I pulled that strategy group. Now, not really knowing exactly why she kind of labeled them, I kind of want to see them do a little bit of this work so I can know what kind of support they need. And just looking a little bit, I think they're going to have different needs. So usually when I pull a strategy group, they all have the same similar thing. Like I might notice that some of them, they're not adding enough detail, so that it sounds like they're copying right out of the text. So actually what I'm going to do when I go back to the strategy group, I'm just going to listen in. I'm going to have them kind of turn and talk with their partner and share their connection. And I'm going to listen in, and I'm going to see if there's a common need among some of them. I might send a couple back and just focus on the ones who have a similar need. Do you know what I mean? And since we're all here, I thought this is a great opportunity, I feel like, at this time, to just skim and scan real quick. Because we get so caught up, right, between we're supporting students, we're conferring, we're working with a group. But sometimes I just like to stop and just skim and scan and see, do we notice them doing this work? And until a minute ago, why it was. But this whole table is working. I love how this table is focused and reading their books and making connections. Do you have a question, buddy?
Yes.
What? I loved it how you made a connection already. I'm so proud of you. What's your question?
When I read about Cora, it reminded me of Andrew and Adrian playing at 3 later.
Did you write that whole thing down? Will you take that connection and stick it right in your book like we talked about, like I showed you, and just keep reading. See if you have more connections. So since I have you all over here too, we had a little bit of a chance to kind of look around. I think a lot of us noticed, I'm curious what you noticed, but it seemed like a lot of them were just needing that prompting for the first part. We weren't even really getting to the second part. Were you kind of noticing that? Yeah. But it's neat though, because just with that little prompting for Wyatt, he went with it, and he did it. You know, Sandra was saying, like, even just there's an issue of copying. So would we want to have that posted in multiple places? I don't know. We could talk about that. Or maybe we could even think, was it too soon to introduce that second part of the sentence stem? Those are the kinds of things that will be great for us to go back and talk about. So feel free to come around back here, and I'm going to meet with the strategy group if you want to listen in. And before I do that, I'm even going to just kind of skim and scan and make sure everybody's on track. And as I skim and scan, I'm so impressed. They're all working. Even just take a good look, because this warms my heart. It's my favorite part. Like, what do you notice? They're writing. If they are talking, they're talking about their books. That's awesome. Awesome. Boy, I'm not even going to interrupt them to give them a compliment. All right, so guys, I am so impressed. I asked you to the rugs because I just wanted to make sure and see. Oh, Jeremy. Oh, I know. I'll let Jeremy get his thought down. He's finishing. Can you, actually, Jeremy, can you stop for a quick minute? And Dominic? And what's your name, buddy? Hunter. You know what? If I could have your eyes for a quick minute. I'm so sorry to interrupt you because I can tell you're so focused. But here's what I was wondering. I pulled you to the rug because I just wanted to see if you needed a little bit more support, if you wanted to talk about how this making connections work. Like, how do we make connections? How can we talk a little bit, like, how is that working for you? Is it easy for you to make connections, or is it something that you're still working on a little bit? Hunter, what do you think? Are connections easy for you? Do you add lots of detail to your connections? Or is it a little bit challenging? Can you show me a thumbs up? Thumbs up if it's easy. Sideways thumb if you're still working on it, getting better at it. Oh my. Oh, Hunter, I love it how Hunter was honest. He's like, he's still working on that. Here's what I'd like you to do. Turn and talk, Jeremy and Amaris, you share a connection that you've made already. Dominic and Hunter, you share a connection you made already. And I'm just going to listen in, so you talk to each other. Go ahead and turn and talk. Wonderful, keep going. So go ahead and Hunter, you need Dominic and Jeremy, share your connection. Go ahead. Oh, I think you'll be okay. Share your connection quick.
As a lesson, it made me think about when I'm not listening to my mom. When she's telling me to do my homework, I don't do it.
Can you say to him, do you have a connection?
Do you have a connection? Yes. I remember when
Can you show us do you have it there? Here, put it over here. There we go.
I remember when my mom, she made a hot dog that was really burned, and then she threw it in the trash, and then the pigeon went to go eat it.
What part made you think that? Was there a part in here that made you think that about your mom? Was there one certain page? Was this one. So when you read about, what's happening here? So it's that prompting to get more detail. What's happening here?
There is a little duck, and he wants the hot dog too, but he won't give it to him.
Oh, and when you read about the little duck, the mom not giving the bird not giving the pigeon not giving the duck the hot dog, what did it make you think again? It made you think about what?
When my mom made a hot dog and it wasn't good, and then she threw it in the trash, and then the pigeon went to go eat it.
Do you think you could put all of that on there? So here, let's add this right here. Let's get you a Post-it. Can you add that? So when I read about, I'm going to go this way. When I read about the pigeon not giving the duck a hot dog, go ahead and you start that. And you know what, sweetie, you can go back to your seat. Amazing work. Stick those in your book so they're sticking out. Did you guys share your connections? I missed it. Yeah? Did you share your connections? Yeah. Will you share with me, Hunter, will you share with me your connection?
It made me think about me playing the Xbox and my sister changed the channel.
And what part in the text made you think that? So that we need that beginning part when you read about. What part made you think about that? Can you show me that part? And actually, teachers, I'm even right now debating, rather than having Jeremy write that connection, I'm wanting to see if he can transfer it to a new one, to see if he can actually tell what made him think that, adding more of that detail. So I'm almost debating if it's worth it to have him write that right now. I suppose that's showing transfer, having him see if he can even hold that in his head and write it right now. So I'm going to let him go, actually. This is it's like always all those decisions that we're making. Okay, awesome. So what, did you find the part? Look, Dominic. So which part? What's happening there?
The trucks are going, the trucks are going somewhere.
The trucks are going somewhere here? And what did that remind you of?
It reminded me of playing the Xbox and my sister changed the channel.
Oh, how did the trucks going somewhere? I'm kind of confused. How did the trucks going somewhere make you think about your Xbox?
Going to my house and turning off the Xbox.
Going to your house? Were they going to go do something like that? Did they have a mission to go do something? Like your mission to go turn off the Xbox? Or did you want to turn on the Xbox?
I wanted to turn the Xbox was already on, but they turned it off.
Oh, okay. So do you know what I noticed you did, Hunter? And actually, Jeremy, you did this too. And Dominic, you know what I noticed Jeremy and Dominic did? So you had a connection. So you have this part. You have the part it reminds you of, Hunter. But it's this part that we need to tell more about. We need to tell the details. What in the story made you think of that connection? Can we be sure to add that part? Yeah? All right. So I'm going to give you a minute. Why don't you look over your connection, Dominic, and see if you have that part. What in the story made you think that? And stick your connection on that page. And Hunter, you can keep going. See if you have other connections. So stick your connection right on that page that made you think of that connection. Can you stick that one here? And then that will be a nice assessment. So I'm going to give them a minute, and I'm just going to skim and scan and see if I need to confer with anybody. What time is it? So we have a few minutes left. Boys and girls, class. Class. If you, and you know what, actually sometimes teachers, what I'll do is I'll have them, if they want a conference, I might have them put a Post-it in front of them. I'm just realizing with first grade, we might have a ton. But boys and girls, give me a thumbs up if making connections is working for you. If it's helping you, it's really easy. Sideways thumb, if you know what, this is a little challenging. It's challenging to remember to use a sentence stem. Sideways thumb, if it's a little challenging. Thumbs up if you got this. So I'm looking for everybody's thumbs. Sideways thumbs, it's okay. If you know what, I'm working on this. Thumbs up if this is easy for you. If you have a sideways thumb and you want a conference, take a Post-it. If you have a sideways thumb, take your Post-it and put it right at the top of your desk. And you can, and then I'll know that I might come and have a conference with you. Awesome. Go ahead, keep going. There's just a few minutes left. All right. Dominic, how did that go for you? Were you able to find the place? Can you tell me your connection? And so really, teachers, sometimes this strategy almost turns into really ultimately kind of conferences. But you saw how we leveraged that work so that everybody could pay attention and we could highlight that. Oh my goodness, can you tell me your connection? Can you say, when I read about?
It makes me think of.
Can you use the whole thing? When I read about. What was happening here? When I read about.
Diego book.
What part in the Diego book?
It made me think about when I was running with my brother.
So what was happening here? Oh, I see you put on this page. What's happening here? So when you read about what? What was Diego doing, or his sister? When I read about...
They were running with these.
Running the race? So can you say that? When I read about April running the race, it reminded me of... Go ahead. When I read about...
About
April.
April.
What was she doing?
Running the race.
It reminded me of
running the race with my brother.
You ran a race with your brother? Can you give me more detail about that? Tell me about it, because I'm going to have to say, it sounds an awful lot like the story. How do I know it's your connection? Tell me more about that. What happened? Tell me about the race a little bit. Where was it? Where were you racing? Was it like a formal actual race, or did you guys just decide to race in your yard? Or was it down the hallway in your house? I want to know, where was it? I have to picture it in my head.
Outside.
It was outside? Where outside?
In our yard.
Already, now I have that picture. Now I know that's different than what happened in the story. Could you add that detail? Could you say, remind me when I ran a race with my brother outside in our yard? Could you add that detail? Let's put it up here so you can write that. Awesome, you add that detail.
How do you draw a paper for Minecraft?
Well, I don't know. You're going to have to do your best with that. Okay. And so here's the neat thing. What I want to do with them, but I'm going to have to know, I would come back and do this the next time, is that knowing that really there were two things we needed to work on. We needed to work on this beginning part of telling where in the story made us think that, but we also needed to add more detail to make sure that it was really their connection. So I think I would call this group again, and that's probably what I would start out with. Those would be my teaching points for this group. But knowing that time is kind of running out, I might just quickly say that to them, but I won't reinforce it now. But so we're going to go into the share. Did you find someone else, or do we want to highlight for the one student? Before we go into the share, what was her name in the remember how we noticed that she was writing all on her own? Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Yeah.
Sorry to stress you
Okay.
out.
I was just like, what?
I'm so sorry. Did you find someone else, or do we want to highlight her? You think that would be good? And we can just say how, gosh, you know what? Look what's her name? What's your name, babe?
Andrea.
Oh, so guys, look how, you know what Andrea did? She started writing this all on her own. And then maybe have them.
She didn't start with when I read about. She just started with it reminded me of.
Oh, I thought she did. Well, so maybe do we want to find somebody who did actually write that? Oh, here we go. Yeah, do you want to use her? Okay. All right, so hold on. Let me just get, I think we're ready, actually. So we'll just highlight, we'll say, gosh, notice how Erica, she started all on her own. She used both parts of the sentence done. Turn and talk and share and see if you did that work, you know? Okay? I'll let you go. Class.
Class.
Yes.
So I noticed how Erica here went ahead and started all on her own with the sentence stem. I can see on her sticky notes how she wrote, when I read about Franklin, because this is her book about Franklin, and she went ahead and wrote, when I read about Franklin, find a stopwatch, it reminds me when I found a stopwatch and time my mom and my dad were at the park. So she went ahead and used the whole sentence stem. So I want you to go ahead and turn and talk and look at your sticky notes and see, did I start with the same sentence stem that Erica started with, the same one that we have up here at the board? Go ahead and turn and talk and look at your sticky notes.
And share your connection. Read your connection to your partner. So find one and then share it. Go.
You did such a good job.
All right, do you have a
Look at
connection? Do you have?
Looks
Oh, you're just
great.
gonna stretch it out. Just put it. What's the first sound you hear in Minecraft? Let's just put that for now. Okay. So, did you have another connection that you wanted to share? If you have another one, go ahead and share with your partner. You can all three share. And this point, I want to start listening in and just let's listen in and see if they're using that language. So, teachers, yeah, just listen in. Share with your partner. Oh, you two are going to share. Perfect. Are you two sharing? Perfect. Who's your partner? Perfect. I'll get out of the way. Share it with your partner. Where's your partner? Oh, you have to talk to your partner. Say, will you listen to my connection? Say, uh-oh, but we need a partner here then. Wyatt, come on over. Can you say to your partner, Wyatt? Wyatt, can you tell your partner, say, I have a connection.
I have a connection.
And you can say, what is it?
What is it? Adrian wanted to play with me.
Can you say, what in the text made you think that?
What in the text made you think that?
Which part?
Which part? Right here.
Can you stick the Post-it right on that part?
He wanted to.
You know what? Actually, we're just going to share one. So can you say to your partner, say, do you have a connection?
Do you have a connection? Yes. No. What is it?
Maybe there's something else.
My dog rides in the car with me when we go to the beach.
Can you say, what in the text made you think that?
What in the text made you think that?
When I read in the yard.
When we leave.
Which part in here made you think that? Look at the book. Wyatt, so you want to point to the book, say what in the text made you think that? Which part?
Dad mows.
Oh, this part?
Leaves fall.
Were they
Riding in the car.
Right in the car? What did that part make you think again? Right in the car made you
My
think
dog, my cat, me and my dog and my cat riding in the car to go to the beach.
what? Oh. And that's different. Where are they going?
To the beach?
Are they going to the beach?
Yes.
Oh, they're going to the beach too?
No.
Oh, they are going to the beach. So I have to say, it sounds an awful lot like, your connection sounds an awful lot like the story. How is yours different? Tell me more about yours.
We riding in the car?
Who else was the, yeah, tell us.
That we ride in the car.
When I read
And they always stick their head out the windows.
That's similar to that. Tell me more. Tell me more about it. Say this. What else did they do in the car?
They stick their tongue out. They need air, that's why.
That's why. Oh, does that help you better understand the story? Do you think they enjoyed that? Do your pets enjoy being in the car? Yeah? I bet they were enjoying it too then. Does that help you understand?
I put her in the top of the roof, right? She's like, wee, wee.
That sounds dangerous.
But I took her out.
Okay. Okay. Class. If you can hear my voice, tap your head. If you can hear my voice, touch your nose. If you can hear my voice, touch your shoulder. If you can see my eyes, hands on your hips. If you see my eyes, thank you for having your eyes on me. I am so proud of all this thinking work you've been doing. You worked really hard to say, when I read about, it reminded me of, and you guys are really good at doing the part, it reminded me of, but the part we're not doing as much, we need to say, what part in the text made you think of that connection? Do you think that's something we can work on next time? Thumbs up.
I have one more.
I know, you have a lot. So boys and girls, you can go ahead and put your Post-its in your book and actually close your books. We're going to collect your books because we want to look at all your great thinking. And thank you so much for learning with us today. I'm so proud of you. Good job.